Okay, so we are live now. We will start. Sure. I will say good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to the panelists. Welcome to our today's webinar. This is Bianca Tudor, an entrepreneur and the founder of Elite Business Women. We are here on a live debate, and the topic for today is blue-collar workforce in Europe, a growing need and opportunity. Before introducing all the guest speakers today, I will take just 2 minutes of your time to introduce Elite Business Women. EBW, as we love to call it, it is a company providing entrepreneurial education for women in business. At EBW, we believe in creating ecosystems to educate and empower people. And when I say people, I say as well men and women in business. We believe in women entrepreneurship. When we invest in women, they invest back 90% into their communities. And when a woman is financially independent, she will invest back into her family, into the education of her family, into her community, society, and so on, and the health system as well. And she will become a volunteer in her community. And we believe in global collaboration. We launched a project to bring together Europe and GCC. It is called the EU GCC Women's Cooperations Group. What you have to know is that EBW has 3 main directions. The first one is education, and we do that in our Elite Business Clubs. We have Elite Business Club in 5 countries in Europe and as well in the Gulf countries, and a network of 12,000 companies, men and women entrepreneurs. The second pillar in our activity is funding. We launched Elite Business Women Investment Fund. Our aim is to offer scholarships to women startups, and we do that using the sharing economy concept. Every time a member will subscribe in the Elite Business Club, 20% from the membership fee will go to have micro scholarships for our women startups members in the Elite Business Club. And the third pillar, as I said, it is the global collaboration pillar. We believe in collaboration, and as you see, when we are together, we create a faster and a greater impact. So we bring together organizations and people with the same goals, and we help them to reach their goals and their objectives. Today, I have with me a great panel of speakers, and I'm really happy because some of them are members in the Elite Business Club. So I will say welcome to our guests. And first of all, I will introduce Mr. Jay Arora. He is a Business Development Director at Centaur India. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy to have you here, and thank you for all your hard work to have this webinar happening. As well, I will introduce Mr. Ahmad. It is the Director of the Global Operations Centaur Group with over 40 years of experience in HR policies. Welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you as well. And Mr. Hemant Panchal, it's Head Operations at Centaur Group. Welcome.
Thank you.
I will say from now, please excuse me if I don't pronounce correctly your names. I always have this in mind, and I hope you will not be really upset if I will pronounce funny your name, so don't take it personally. And as well, I will say welcome to 2 women in business this time. Raluca Kulda, she's an HR consultant and the founder of Zoom HR. Welcome, Raluca.
Thank you, Bianca. And also not to forget, a very proud member of Elite Business Women.
Yes, happy to hear that. And as well, we have today with us Miss Irina Vasile. She is a founder at Vasile Attorneys. Welcome, Irina.
Thank you, Bianca. I'm glad to be here with you.
Happy to have you with us. And I will say welcome, probably welcome to all our attendees. Happy to have you here. Mr. Dan, Elena, Florin, Vali, and a lot of other great people today. And I remind you that we are as well live on Facebook. And if you love our content, please share it. So maybe other people can watch it live as well. Okay, so I said that I will have a challenge for you at the beginning. I have 1 minute pitch for each of you. So please introduce yourself in 1 minute, and I will start with Jay, please.
I'm Jay Arora, Director, Business Development at GCC and Europe. I look after blue collar as well as white collar recruitment for various industries in the recruitment sector.
Great, great. I think you finished earlier.
Yes.
Okay, next, please, Raluca. Or Irina, who is ready?
I am Irina Vasile. I'm a business attorney and I manage Vasile Attorneys. I come from a background in a top 3 lawyer firm in Bucharest. And basically our law firm is a boutique law firm offering targeted services to corporate clients, all type of business law services.
Great, thank you so much. Mr. Ahmed, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Hi, my name is Ahmed, and I'm the HR director and looking after the global operations center. Basically, I'm from the HR background. I come from a business school background. Coming to my academics, it's Asia's #1 B school in HR. It's called as XLRI Jamshedpur, very famous in India. And also I have done my CAPD from UK.
Great.
I have 30 years of HR experience. I have worked in government, semi-government, private, across the industries. I have been in both the sides, recruiting as well as asking for recruitment. So my experience is vast in the field of recruitment. It's not only just recruitment, the entire gamut of HR.
Great, thank you so much. Raluca, can you introduce yourself in 1 minute?
Thank you, Bianca. My name is Raluca Kulda, and I believe that all people deserve the opportunity to work empowered and to have a satisfying professional life. So this is what I've been doing for the last 13 years. I've been working with companies and with their employees to empower the workforce. I've built my own company since 2015, Zoom HR, when we like to say we make people and their businesses shine.
Great, thank you so much. And we are with Mr. Hemant Panchal, please.
Thank you, Bianca. Yeah, this is Hemant Panchal. I'm into recruitments from last 15 to 16 years. I've been doing recruiting, manpower hiring, and operations for recruitment processes. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I hope you're ready because we will start the panel of discussions. And at the beginning, we will start with the context of the blue-collar workforce in Europe, and I will ask Raluca to be the first one who will start the debate.
Thank you. So my focus for today is just to give you an overview regarding the labor context within Central and Eastern Europe, and then we will narrow it to Romania. I'm having some figures here. So the reason I'm looking just to make sure that I got all the data right. So I've been looking for 2019 and 2020 reports. As we all know, 2020 has been a very different year, and at least for 5 or 6 months, there has been a semi or entire lockdown for the main industry, and that has really impacted the blue-collar workforce. Now, 2019, there is a manpower report that talks about the deficit of the blue-collar workforce. So they really focused on this need. And if we are looking at Poland and Czech Republic, the percentage is between 55 and 60. Their dependence on the blue-collar workforce, but that means that migrant workers going to Romania, Moldova, Turkey, the percentage goes up to 86. Now, Romania in 2019 had a need, the dependence for migrant workers of 82%. That was the possibility. Deutsche Welle has a report that came out in the spring of 2019. And actually what they did was a research regarding the evolution of the workforce, skills and unskilled workers for the next 20 to 30 years. And what they've discovered in that report is that there are two main factors that are going to create a very important need for what we call in our panel today, blue-collar workforce. First of all is the migration from east to west in Europe as we know it. And the second one, which I think is very relevant, and in Romania we do understand that, is the aging population. Now, Romania in the data was for July 2020, had 8.3 million active people in the workforce. So Deutsche Welle says that the population between 25 and 65 years of age is going to decrease in the next 20 years with 30%. So what I'm saying is that the need is going to increase rapidly in the next years. I would like to say that 2020 and maybe the beginning of 2021 are exceptions, and we have to learn from it and adjust from it, but I don't think they are the rules in terms of how the economy is going to be driven, but rather are some very good opportunities for companies. I'll give you an example. I've told you earlier, at least for the panelists, that I'm here in a very beautiful location in my way to Bucharest, and in the restaurant where we had lunch earlier, there was the waiter coming and asking me, and he is from Vietnam. It was really funny because I was in my mind preparing for this panel, and I was thinking, okay, so I went down to the counter and I asked the lady how many workers do they have, for how long have they been having it, and the feedback was really good actually. Now, because my research in this area hasn't usually in Romania, so I'm going to funnel it to Romania now, and our experience, what we would hear is that unqualified workforce is, let's say, rather unserious most of the time. So you would have people not showing up to work, you would have people, faking some kind of disease. And yesterday I had a friend of mine saying that because of one of the drivers of one of her machines, there were more than 600 books that were standing in the rain because that person did a mistake and lied, and everything else went down the drain. So you would hear this a lot of times about the unskilled workers. Now, from my entire research from the last days, I haven't found a single feedback saying that our blue-collar workforce and what we are importing, let's say, as blue-collar workforce, act like that. So we have people coming here without their families, away from their families, and their main reason is to work and to send money home. What they're asking is to be treated fairly and to be given the opportunity to earn their money. It's something, history is a cyclic process. And Bianca, Irina, I'm pretty sure you know that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this would be Romanians in that situation going in Western countries in Europe. Now we are in a very similar situation, but for different parts of the globe. Just to give you some figures, in August 2020, in Romania alone, we had 13,000 open jobs opportunity for unskilled workers. So that's 13,000 out of 22 jobs open, at least from the public ones. And my colleagues here from the HR side, I'm happy to have so many HRs in the panel. It's glad to be speaking the same language. I'm pretty sure they have a very good case studies of how these workers have delivered for their companies. From my information, in our lockdown, so Romania was going through a lockdown in spring and part of the summer, couple of hundred people from this category have lost their jobs, but most of them intend to come back to Romania and they do want to stay here. Now, Irina is going to tell you the length of the contract and the responsibilities for both employer and employees, But what I've discovered in my research is that truly their intention is to stay here, be that 2 years of a contract or 4 years of a contract. Blue collar workers that come from Asia are really dedicated to continue their growth and continue to deliver for the employer. What I know is that the recruitment process for this kind of personnel can take up to 4 months. I'm pretty sure the gentleman can tell you, if it takes longer or from their experience. And there are very similar legal requirements and opportunities for the employer, I mean, some from the safety measures, as you would have for a Romanian employee. So you would have length of service, you would have periods to adjust and onboarding and so on. And personally, my experience with there has been, and I have to tell you, I've been biased on this, right? So when I've heard about these opportunities, I think in 2016, 2017, my first question was, again, that was my perspective, how are these people going to learn Romanian in such a way, because most of them, you would find them in hospitality, tourism, Horeca, you'd find some of them in construction. Either way, they will have to speak Romanian. And so right now I'm around Sibiu. I found them in Bucharest. I found them in Timișoara. I did found them in Constanța. And I had the pleasant opportunity that they have a very easy adjustment to the Romanian language. So at least for me, that was the bias. I went and said, okay, all is well, but how are they going to talk to us? And I have to say that working in HR doesn't, save you from a closed mindset sometimes. And I'm happy to be here even from that perspective. I'll yield the rest of my time for the questions at the end of the panel, if it's the case.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Raluca. And I have to say that as well, I've seen a lot of blue-collar workforce in a lot of cities, Romania, but as well in other countries such as Bulgaria or Poland. And they are really fast adapting to the language, and I'm impressed. Well done. We will move now to our next panelist, Mr. Jay Arora, and he will speak about the current scenario in the international blue-collar workforce and in the recruitment, more about the recruitment area. And please, Jay.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's webinar. This is on blue-collar workforce for Romanian and other European countries. I especially would like to thank Bianca Tudor from Elite Businesswoman and Irina Vesel from Vesel Partners, Kulga, Mr. Raluca Kulga from Ms. Raluca Kulga from Zoom HR for removing their time out to attend the webinar. I would like to introduce our company, Centaur Group, which has nearly 2 decades of experience into manpower recruitment for blue and white collar. We are spread across countries from GCC to other European countries. We have our presence in UAE and India with associate offices in Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Philippines, and Thailand. Very soon, Centaur would be present in Romania with their office and infrastructure, since we do have our team remotely working and based out of Romania currently. Blue collar workforce plays a very dominant and important role in each and every economy globally for their development and economic growth. There is huge demand supply parity for blue collar workforce in various industries like construction, infrastructure, MEP, hospitality, facility management services like cleaning and sanitization, oil and gas sector, logistics, retail, and agriculture. The major benefits of hiring blue collar workforce from Asian countries, the first and the foremost benefit is commitment. Blue collar workforce which is hired is committed to their job since they are on contract for a certain duration, which gives advantage to companies hiring them to complete their projects on time. The second advantage is efficiency and skill. The advantage of hiring the skilled and experienced manpower who are committed to their job profile. They are more sincere and efficient in the approach towards work environment. The third and the foremost is cost. The major advantage of hiring blue-collar workforce is cost. The cost of hiring these workforce is nearly 1/3 as compared to hiring the manpower locally. That is the major and the biggest advantage to companies. And the last and the important is scalability. The major benefit to companies is they could scale up their operations at a very short duration of time, since the blue collar workforce is readily available in the Asian countries. Now I'll discuss about the impact of COVID and pre and post COVID impact on these industries. Each and every country across the globe has suffered in these pandemic times. Major construction and infra projects, small and large, have come to standstill, and large amount of investments have got stuck in these projects across nations. The role of government in these times. The government and the private sector should partner in their effort to ease the formalities in hiring the blue-collar workforce from Asian countries. This will support industries in the sectors mentioned above in these difficult times. The next point which I would like to focus is impact on the economy. The global hiring of blue-collar workforce in various sectors will give major economic advantage to countries in their growth. The biggest example of hiring blue-collar workforce among nations is GCC nations, the Gulf countries. Countries in the Gulf region has easy visa issuing and immigration policy for these industries, which has led to their growth and development in the last 15 years, which is a case study by itself. Diversity and talent. Hiring of Asian workforce from different continents and different countries in the same projects gives advantage of diversity and best of talent from across the nations. Thank you. And I'm ready to take any questions if.
Can you tell us a little bit about how long does it take the recruitment process from the, when the moment you sign the contract maybe until the workers get into the customer's company?
It takes about after the work permit is issued by the companies, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And the process before that?
Process before that is about 4 weeks. The companies locally, they take about 4 weeks to get the work permits.
I just want to make a comparison because you can hire so in construction or in software, now they're not the same industries. However, we're looking, the recruitment process can take up to 20 weeks.
Yeah. And in fact, at Centaur, we have our in-house team handling visa and documentation and everything. So, which is an added advantage. We have a gentleman who has about 25 years experience in immigration and visa policy. And he has been working with various embassies, and so that is an advantage that we have.
Great, thank you so much, Jay. And please, everyone, if you have any feedbacks or questions or maybe an aha moment to share with us, please use the chat. We are here, we can all read it. And we will take some questions at the end of the panel. We are moving forward to our next speaker, Mr. Ahmad, Director Global Operations at Centaur Group. And Ahmad will speak about the recruitment strategy from hiring to onboarding of blue-collar workforce.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Raluca, Arena, and all panelists. I'm not going to be very formal. I'm going to split it into 2 parts. Bianca, it's making life very easy when everybody is talking at very easily and when Raluko was referring about the HR and processes and how people are adjusting, my thoughts were going back to some of the projects where we did it for the overseas ones. Not sounding very formal, I thank you for the opportunity to share our recruitment processes and HR policy, which anyway we have put it in the PowerPoint, but I'll just dwell a little bit on that as bullet points. I would like to give a brief background of me so that as clients and the people to whom we are being referred will feel assured that you are leaving the recruitment to the right hands. My decades of experience representing corporates and working on both sides of demand and supply, I understand the pain of trusting agencies with sensitive orders. If not all, many recruitment agencies talk big till orders are given, and later on, to your horror, you would find them not good professionally. The pain of having to deal with such agencies would affect projects with strict timelines, both financially and penalties. As I already mentioned, like I come with a background in HR. To give a little more into that, I began my career as a recruiter in the year 1988. And since then, it is all HR, almost 30 years now. Before joining Center, I have worked in manufacturing, construction, retail, oil and gas, high-end fashion, consumer electronics, renewable energy, etc. I have recruitment experience for mega projects with thousands of manpower with strict timelines, which includes reputed names from US and Europe. I have been both in the sides of asking for candidates and hiring. My hiring experience all these years is from both white collar as well as blue collar. I have spent more than a decade recruitment in Dubai as well. So you can rest assured why I'm dwelling so much is not talking about me. When you issue to Center with a mandate, you are getting the right people as per your job description and job specs. A sincere, wholehearted approach from Center will be there. Our recruitment processes are thoroughly refined from time to time and as per requirements of clients with a lot of flexibility, as one size doesn't fit all. For the entire gamut of recruitment, selection, and until deployment, we will continue to be there with the clients. That is our assurance. Recruitment process starts with the clear understanding of clients' expectations, thoroughly understood job descriptions, which we insist actually. We believe to a greater extent, the successful recruitment comes from knowing the exact expectations of the client. Then our selection processes will depend on the job specs, trade testing, the individual's experiences, rigorous interview processes, along with the client representatives and giving multiple candidates for further shortlistings, background testing, medical checks, visa processing, immigration formalities, necessary paperwork from consulates, as Jay was mentioning, like we have got a team specializing in all these skills, up to the travel bookings and flying candidates in time, on time. Since we have been doing this for years, you can rest assured we have near perfected the entire cycle. We have tied up with partners who specialize in facilities across Pan-India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Philippines, Vietnam, and other places, and also other Asian countries if you require different nationalities for diversity purposes. Where you would find us different from other agencies is our long-lasting trust, hiring the right people, ethical recruitment, very important, and continued support till the end of the cycle. We sincerely believe in the long-term relationships and continued support to make the projects succeed. So you would find us different from others professionally. That is where Center as a recruitment agency differs from others. The proof will lie in the pudding. You can always test us with a small mandate, and I'm sure you would stand and deliver. As we have limitations on the time limits, we have incorporated the details in the PowerPoint for everyone to see, and you can refer to us and refer to specific queries. We will come back to you. At Centaur, we recruit with the motto of bringing on board the right person for the right job in the right time. Now, I would request for any question answers, and then I would hand over to my colleague Hemant to present the sample project studies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmad. If we have any feedbacks or questions or something to add, because you are all in the industry, you can complete each other. It's beautiful to have so many skillful speakers in the HR industry today. If not, let me see if we have something on the chat for the moment. No, it's all good. We will move forward to our third speaker. And it is about, he will speak about some case studies. I love the fact that you came with some great examples like the Qatar airport, some malls, some oil and gas industry. And I'm inviting Mr. Hemant Panchal, the head operations at Centaur Group, to present us some case studies from their work. Please.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good afternoon, all the panelists and all the attendees. Myself, Hemant Pancha. It's my pleasure to present the case studies on behalf of Centaur. We have been recruiting for clients across Gulf countries and the UK. In fact, we had source candidates for Polish and Lithuanian clients, but unfortunately, due to COVID situation, we cannot deploy them. My focus is going to be on some of the mega projects for which we recruited and supported our clients in construction, retail, hospitality, and facility management sectors. I will start my case study for facility management, infrastructure, and hospitality. Hamad International Airport, which is spread over an area of 8.5 square miles, was the first big ticket project announced by Qatar for FIFA 2022 World Cup. Our client FMM is a joint venture between Qatar Airways and Ferrovial of Spain. Ferrovial manages facilities in airports like Heathrow, Glasgow, Southampton, and Aberdeen. FMM chooses Centaur as exclusive recruitment partner. We had successfully recruited and deployed 6,500 candidates over the period of 2014 to 2016. In addition to our database, to cater to 6,500 numbers, candidates were sourced through advertisements in local and national newspapers, social media platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook, online job portals like Monster, Indeed, Naukri, and through our countrywide network of associates. Apart from India, candidates from countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Philippines were also hired. Both white and blue collar category staff were recruited by FMM. Below is a partial list of the categories. It ranges from engineering, managerial, healthcare in the white collar, and skilled and semi-skilled workers in the blue. Engineers such as mechanical, electrical engineers, electronic engineers, MEP engineers, mechanical technicians, electrical technicians, electronic technicians, plumbers, pipe fitters, HVAC technicians, painters, finishing carpenters, polishers, masons, gypsum carpenters, store managers, BMS operators, light and heavy duty drivers, housekeeping staffs, doctors, general physicians, counter sales staff, purchase staff, cashiers, trolley boys for the duty free, janitors, cleaners, helpers, and the list goes on. To maintain demographic balance, all GCC countries issues country-specific visa quotas. Hence, Centaur source candidates from various nationalities. Next, we go to our case study 2, which covers retail and construction sectors. Our client Safari Group of companies based out of Dubai and Doha, owned by the royal family. Safari shopping mall spread over total area of 1.2 million square feet and Safari hypermarket in Dubai and Doha, rendering a range of premium brands and services to its customers. Safari chooses Centaur as exclusive recruitment partner. We had successfully recruited and deployed 2,500 candidates over the period of 2017 to 2020, and we continue to cater to their expansion. The following categories of personnel were recruited for Safari Group: finishing carpenters, gypsum carpenters, masons, welders 2G, 3G, 4G, 6G, electrical technicians, mechanical technicians, pipe fitters, fabricators, light and heavy duty drivers, counter staff, trolley boys, loaders, CCTV operators, pastry makers, fish and meat cutters, etc.
Hemant, can I have a question?
Yeah, sure.
So Romania has a huge opportunity for lorry drivers. However, there's the component of the legislation here that has to be taken into consideration, and as well as in the mechanical side. But will you be able to offer, let's say, drivers, so what you would call lorry drivers, and if you have any information regarding what would be the studies, or if is any equivalent in terms of the driving permit?
Okay, I think for Romania, it would be mandatory to have a Romanian driving license. Or in India, how we send the candidates, most of the candidates, they have international driving license for a particular category, like if it is a two-wheeler, a four-wheeler, or a truck, or a trolley. So most of the candidates, what we send, they do have international driving license. Once they have an international driving license, once they visit to any country or they go for a work to any country, over there they can give a trial again, and they can apply for a driving license over there.
Raluca, just to add to you, an example will make it very easy. When we bring drivers, let's say like for Dubai or anywhere in GCC, they've got a standard. It's almost a British way of driving, okay? And these people have never seen UAE, for example. They are having a driving license of India, but we have seen that within 3 to 4 months max, some people clear it in 2 weeks, some people clear it in 3 weeks. It all depends on the requirement and everything. But we have seen within 2 months, these people successfully change it to the Dubai license, and they are issued an international license here. Guys show a lot of, see, it's all about enthusiasm. And if they are given the right training and if they are guided, these guys pick it up very fast, especially from India.
Thank you.
If there is going to be a requirement of that, if you share, like these are the guys who would require to be having a driving license and everything, accordingly we will hire. Even the pre-selection, we'll be very careful in that.
Plus, many countries in European nations, they accept Dubai license, that is UAE license. So there are a lot of candidates who have been working in GCC, and they have now gone back to their home country. So with GCC license, you could recruit them for the Romanian requirement.
Great. Let's go back to the case studies, and we will have some debates at the end, just to finish with the formal part of the panel, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I will go ahead then. In Safari also, we had recruited blue and white collar categories. They were from India, again from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Philippines. Finally, we will move to our last case study, which covers oil and energy sector. Our client was Oryx GTL, representing Qatar Petroleum and Sasol of South Africa. Oryx is a leader in the global gas to liquids revolution with large-scale production of ultra-clean fuels in Qatar. Oryx GTL chooses Centaur as their prime recruitment partner and recruited 780 candidates. The following categories of staffs were recruited by Oryx: riggers, welders, fire watchers, safety officers, painting and insulation inspectors, mechanical technicians, instrumentation technicians, insulation technicians, electrical technicians. So with this, my case study is over. It's over to you, Bianca.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the case studies, and congratulations for all the great collaborations you had and you will have.
Thank you.
Good. We are moving to some serious issues now because we have Miss Irina Vasile from Vasile Attorneys, and we all want to know either if we are employers or employees the legal implications when hiring blue-collar workforce. And Irina, please tell us all you can cover in 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll be short. So basically, the process in Romania, it's not really complicated, neither long. Well, I mean, before COVID, it wasn't long. Now it's getting longer and longer, unfortunately. So before 2020, it took 3 or 4 months to obtain the final work permit that a foreign worker needs in order to be employed here. Now it can take 6 to 8 months, depending on how lucky you are, basically. And the steps are quite easy, and it's also these documents are easily accessible on the authorities' website. The first step is to get a notice of employment, which basically is applied from the employer. The employer has to submit some documents. One of them says that he has a vacant workplace that cannot be taken by a Romanian worker. And then the employee should show that he or she meets the certain criteria, specific work experience and authorization. For example, like Raluca said, if it's a driver's position, then he should show he has an international valid driver's license and so on. And also he needs to show the employee that he's medically capable, he has no criminal record, and also that he falls within the annual quota established by the government. This is basically a number that the government issues each year, and says that this number of workers, of foreign workers, non-EU workers, are admitted to work here in Romania. For example, last year, 2019, in the first part of the year, the government set a 2,000 K workers quota, and then it increased it to 3,000 K. And this year, for this year, we have a quota of 30,000 K, not 3,000, 30,000 workers. So basically this year, Romania can host 30,000 foreign non-EU workers to work here. This year is, of course, a particularly interesting year, and probably this quota will not be met, because most of the workers were from the hospitality field, and we all know that it's not moving so well these days. But on the other hand, the construction field is alive and kicking. So from this area, we have good signs from our clients. Constructions are still going in the right way. So they need employees, because it's a really big employee crisis in the construction field. And okay, I was telling you about the formalities that you need to fulfill in order to hire non-EU employee. You also need a second step after obtaining that notice of employment. The employer should submit the documents for obtaining a long stay visa for the employee. For this, the employee has to show a proof of his financial means, the labor contracts, and so on. And the last step would be when the employee comes in Romania and begins work. He should go personally to the authority to ask for a single work permit. Basically, the documentation is not really complicated. Of course, it's a lot of paperwork, but the steps are quite simple. The process could be done either internally, because it's a lot of paperwork to fill in if you have, I don't know, a large amount of employees that you need to hire. You can also use automatization and artificial intelligence to fill in all the paperwork. I mean, you don't need an employee to do all this work. It's quite easy. And what I can say from my experience is that usually the employers bear the costs of travel and accommodation for its employees, and especially those from the hospitality field, they also pay 1 or 2 meals a day for the workers. Um, there is still a risk that after paying all these amounts, your employee will go to a competitor, but this risk could be easily mitigated based on the contractual arrangement with your employee. So this should be taken into account by the employer. Because yes, of course, the employee coming in Romania is not held to be employed by the same company. He can also look for other companies to work for. This is the main risk that usually our clients try to mitigate, and they usually ask us, okay, how can I secure that after paying, I don't know, thousands for lawyers and for travel expenses, my worker will not leave the second day to go to my competition. And this is, yes, something that should be really considered and inserted in the labor agreement and in the agreement with the worker. And basically, yes, I really see, as a lawyer and also as a customer, as a client, I see a big need for foreign workers. And I think that if this COVID wouldn't have come this year, then we would have had a massive need for employees also in the hospitality field. And I see this as being a really big opportunity for the government to take a serious measure to encourage this, because this will help grow our economy. And if you have any questions, please feel free.
Great, thank you so much, Irina. I think it was an insightful panel especially for our guests from Centaur Group. If you have any questions for Irina, because she's here, you can. We have
There is a
10 minutes.
question on the group.
Yes, please.
Let me, I'll read it. Is how exactly can you mitigate the risk of the foreign non-EU employees to leave? Can you set conditions on cost return in case of leaving? So I think these are actually two questions. The first one, I know there are a couple of examples, Irina, you can give us. And the second one, the return, maybe one of you gentlemen could answer about if you have examples.
Okay, some of the costs could be returned based on the individual labor agreement, and other costs could be returned by the employment agency, the foreign employment agency, based on the contract with that. So some of them can be included in the labor agreement, some of them not. This is basically the rule.
We normally provide 6 months free replacement of candidate.
Exactly.
We provide, yeah. So
Exactly.
and when we sign an agreement with the employer, we normally give a clause wherein we can, and plus we also take an undertaking from the employees before they leave the country, and with the witnesses, so that once they reach there, they should not leave the job and just scout for some other opportunity. So that is, there is a risk, but still people are going and working. There is a risk of, you can say, about 5%, maybe in 100, 5 people might.
And also from our clients' experience, this is just a question that usually clients put before hiring non-EU personnel. But this in practice happens, like you said, less than 5%, or it really doesn't happen. But the clients are asking, okay, how can I mitigate this risk? What means do I have?
So But normally what we do, we make the employees sign in the country a document, which is see, no legal document is binding, but still, it's just, we make them sign some document wherein, we also have a guarantee that they will not, till the contract is over, they will not move out. Because
Exactly.
it also is,
what happens is,
set.
Jay, just to add to you, usually we have seen as a trend, people who go absolutely new to a new country, they will not immediately move. They settle down, they understand the environment, they make friends and everything. By that time, 2 years is over.
Yeah.
As soon as they come and within days, 3 months, they are not going to run away, for sure. They are all settling down. They have got their families to cater to, and there is a trust factor with which we have brought in, because we are hiring from an associates deep down their second or third level cities. So there is a loyalty and there is a trust there. So of course, yes, as he said, 5% it is always there. That's human tendency. But 95% you can rest assured, people stay. The first
Plus,
2 years is safe.
Plus also our hiring, we have our associates located in various cities, in various small towns. So these associates, they know these candidates. When they sign up, they know these candidates. So that is a guarantee that, we can any which ways get hold of these associates. So that is the reason we also have so many associates in so many towns and different countries. So
I would like to add to this. I think this scenario is only for the white collar staff. Okay, white collar staff have that tendency to look for the jobs, but for blue collar, I don't think they would go to any other company and ask them to hire them or something like that. It's only for the white collar 5%, and for blue collar less than 1%.
It's an excellent point, Hemant, and I absolutely agree with what you said, because Bianca and all the other attendees, a blue-collar worker is trained and specialized with the kind of task that the employer is teaching, so he has to provide. So very different that you would have an unqualified worker in Romania that could go and look for other type of companies to work with. So I also know there, as Jay mentioned, there are limited time contracts, so for a couple of years, where the employee has to stay, or there is, let's say, a fee to be paid. And for your second question, Bianca, what should you write in the working agreement? There are standard working agreements that you will have to mention, by example, the type of performance the worker would have to do, the type when you say performance, we can also talk about coming to work on time, not being in a state that he cannot work. I don't mean being sick, but rather in putting the work in jeopardy. And in the same time, all the companies, the recruitment companies that I've get to know, and obviously Centaur has explained that they're one of the biggest, they have this kind of support for the employer, so making sure that both the employer and the employee are safe and neither of them part ways before it's the case, or in a very unethical matter. But I would refer to Jay and also to Irina if you want the specifics. So if you want to go to a specific legal contract, they're the specialists for that. But there is already a practice in the market.
Great. And one other question from Elena. Does the Romanian work permit for foreign workers limits in any way legally the employees shifting to a new employer?
Can you repeat that, please?
So if our currently Romanian work permit for foreign workers limits in any way an employee to shift to a new employer?
So basically, in order for the employee to shift to a new employer, the new employer should get also a notice of employment. So there are some formalities to be done, but it's nothing really complicated. It's some paperwork that should be submitted to the authority, and then it could be changed.
Okay, great. So it is possible.
Yes, it is.
I would just like to add that the legislation in this kind of working environment is work in progress. So the first recruitment have been done with the support of all the embassies from the countries where the workers are coming from. Now, it's treated as a partnership both with the recruitment companies from those countries and the fact that Romanian employers are under the umbrella, if you want, and supported by the commercial connections between Romania and those countries. But we are talking about uncharted territories in a lot of situations, and this is work in progress. So that's why we have Irina here, and that's why we have these lovely gentlemen to tell us about their experience, because we have a huge need for this kind of workforce, and at the same time, we discover good practices as we go.
Right.
My question to Raluca is what are the challenges in addressing to these kind of 20K 30K numbers from Romanian side?
The 30,000 is a limit that the Romanian legislation has put in terms of this is the number of workers we will allow. Now, in October 2019, the report that I've read said that we had 27,000 something roundabout, so around 27,000 people. So that was last year, right? I will tell you that most of them worked in hospitality because that was the easiest one, and it was very welcoming. We have construction. Romania has a booming construction industry, but in the same time, talking with you guys and based on what Hemant was telling us, now lorry drivers is a huge segment. When you would see companies advertising everywhere, they would advertise on the top of their cars, on the top of the companies. We would have in the same time let's say nurses or the first level of care in health. We could have that as well, in education, whenever the schools are going to reopen and they're going to be in full capacity. So in caregivers, that's also an important segment. Also, we have a manufacturing industry. When I had a couple of months back, I realized while preparing for this workshop, for the panel, I had a couple of months back a client asking if I can provide, he was talking about unqualified workers, maybe around 20 or 30 in steel industry. Right? So you would see there are a lot of small and medium companies in terms of manufacturing, in terms of caregiving, also in logistics that will be in need of this in Romania.
Okay, what is the challenge in the demand and supply? Where do you see if you look at India, we can hire even in 100,000. Okay, but what is the challenge coming in? Is it like is it something to do with the culture, or is it like food habits? What
I think
kind
language is the main. Language would be, but
I'm sorry, Jay, go on.
Yeah, no, you can start. You can.
No, I apologize. What I just wanted to underline is that just as you heard me, right? My bias towards it's like it's not a challenge. How can you talk to us? But rather, how would I understand them? How would my coworkers that they've it's not a cultural thing, but rather exactly the language. And keep in mind that this is one part of the world that us as another part of the world, the European part of the world, have been very little in contact with. Right? So rather, how would I understand them? How difficult would be for me to understand them, right? And after that, it would be all the prejudice that we would have. Would they be, would they want to go back? Would they be would they work with integrity, reliable, and so on? But I would say, as Jay mentioned, that would be the first one. But again, we have a break in that prejudice many times because we have excellent case studies for that in Romania.
Oh, great. Okay.
I just want to know, is there any quota, country-specific quota for work permits? No.
Irina, maybe you can help us, but from what I know,
no quota.
Quota for?
quota for countries. That is in some countries in GCC.
Ah,
they
no,
have,
no, no. This
yeah,
so this quota, this
30,000. Yeah, 30,000
K is basically for all non-EU countries globally.
But in that also there is some quota for specific countries like India, 5,000 or maybe no.
No,
So,
no.
that is good. In fact,
Yeah.
that is good.
Great.
Okay.
Because we are preparing for the closing, I just want to give you 1 minute for a closing remark, or maybe a call to action, or maybe whatever you would like to add at the end of the panel. And I will start with Irina, please.
I would like to conclude that I think this is a great opportunity for companies to start hiring or start planning to hire their workers from non-EU countries, because basically this year when the activity was low, it's a very good year to prepare the paperwork and to plan ahead for the next years, and to be diligent enough to be one of the companies from the market that does this, because it's a really big competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Raluca, please.
I would have to add as a closure 2 things. First of all, there is place for blue collar workers in Romania, actually not only place, but a requirement. And I believe that we as employees, right, I'm looking as a manager in this case, are going to benefit from this kind of migrant workers because they come from a culture where the type of respect and work ethic we are looking for is highly regarded. So, you know, as we in our country are educated from childhood to go to church, at least that was my case in my generation's case, right, to do some kind of, you know, things. I know from experience working with them that we are going to get very qualified people, but also with integrity and interest to work.
That's an interesting feedback. Thank you so much, Raluca, and I totally agree with you. Mr. Ahmed, please.
Yeah, thanks, Bianca and Raluca, Arena. In fact, after when we started the meeting, and after an hour, when we are closing it, I'm feeling so confident because we know we have been doing it. Only thing is, like, sometimes there is a fear of unknown. When you people made it so easy, I think like we can easily do it and gel together. It's easy for us. This is what we have been doing it for decades. The last mile connectivity is what was required for us. I think it's you are already providing it. I look forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well. Mr. Hemant Panchal.
Thank you all the panelists. I will conclude like, see, if any of your companies require any workforce from Asia, we are here. We are ready to provide it. Please, if you have any of the requirements, please connect us. We have, I think Bianca have our contacts. Thank you. That's it.
Great. Yes. Thank you so much. And we do have the contact details and the PowerPoint presentation. If any attendee would love to receive the PowerPoint for some information, we do have it. And I will move to Mr. Jay for a closing remark. Please, Jay.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Raluca. Thank you, Irene, for participating in this webinar. And we at Centaur have the strength and integrity to provide the numbers of requirement of blue collar as the industry would require. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jay, as well. This is the end of our debate on the blue-collar workforce in Europe. And I can say at the end of such a great panel that it is a growing need and opportunity in the same time. So Raluca was really inspired to think about this title. Thank you, Raluca, for the idea. As Irina, our let's say legal advisor, told us today, it is a point in which we can start hiring blue-collar workforce, and it is an opportunity. We have a lot of case studies from our partner Centaur Group from India, that there is a lot of successful stories about companies who are doing this rightly. And I really advise you to contact Raluca Irina for legal advising. And as well, I cannot wait to welcome Centaur Group and Jay and his team in Romania. So I would love to announce really soon that they will be with us in Romania. And for all our attendees, if you have any feedbacks or questions, you will receive a follow-up email, and please send us maybe if you have any questions for the speakers. And yeah, it is a good start point to think about blue-collar workforce. We are in need of a workforce of this manner in Romania. And I think we can collaborate and have some other maybe discussions on this topic, because this is just the tipping point. As I can see, we have a lot of other topics to discuss. Thank you so much, everyone. It was EBW debate on the blue-collar workforce in Europe, and we will see you next time in our webinars. Have a great day, and please do collaborate. It is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to collaborate nowadays, let's say.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.